What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am your host, Reckless Rex Ruger, and I won't even get into the rest of my names until after the interview. And, of course, the Alexis Arguello puppet.
And I'm Frank Benji's back with another episode.
Yeah, and we're going to get him in here. Yet we deliver again. Exactly what you've come to expect, man. There he is right there. We got him in here. Jose, how are you?
How's it going?
Good to have Jose Antonio Rivera on here, man. First of all, man, I got to say, because we are big nickname guys, El Gallo. Tell us what it means.
El Gallo is those cockfighting roosters.
Okay.
In Puerto Rico, it's legal to raise the roosters, to fight them. You know, it's like a sport, cockfighting rooster.
Okay.
And I used to raise them with my uncle and my cousins and my brother. And I had this rooster that, I don't know, I just go find him, we train him. He was nasty. And then this one fight, he was kind of getting hurt and he kind of budged down, like almost like he was done. And then the other rooster cockily just walked up to him, ready to give him the final claw to finish him off.
Finish him. Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he jumped up, put his claw in his neck and kill the other rooster.
Ooh, nice. Playing possum.
So it was to the death. You know, the roosters fight to the death, and that was my mentality every time I went to the ring. And I was like, give it everything you got.
Yeah, it's actually funny you bring that up right off the bat because, you don't hear a lot about rooster fighting and stuff, but one of my buddies down the road has chickens, and he actually got a rooster. He didn't realize it was going to be a rooster till it was, but they're aggressive in nature, man. They want to fight.
Yes, if you put two roosters, if they see each other, like they'll fight for hands, for their little kids, for food, whatever. I mean, they find any reasons to fight. It's just a macho thing about them,
Now, one thing that I like is that we get to claim you because you are an East Coast guy, right? I mean, we're upstate New York guys. We're right in the backyard of the Hall of Fame, man. So you were born in Philly. No surprise there, man. Toughest bastards come from Philly. Once again, more proof. Why is Philly such a great fight town, though, man? Like, what is it? I mean, obviously, we've seen the Rocky movies. It was glamorized there as like a tough city to kind of come up in, tough reputation, tough folks that live there. But why does it churn out so many great fighters?
I think it's just more of the, a lot of these fighters that come from, poor backgrounds, the streets. The streets always make people tougher than, because they have to grow up early and they have to fight to survive, So whether it's New York or whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's Boston or California or Detroit, where all these, Philadelphia just happens to have, Smokey Joe Frazier and Bernard Hopkins and
the list goes on. Boots Ennis, a guy named Boots Ennis right now that nobody seems to want to fight.
Well, Boots Ennis, there you go.
So how did you get into boxing? We always typically start out the interviews. What was your path to boxing? Were you a kid getting in a lot of fights?
I was, but I was watching the fight between Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, and fighting the first time for the WBA title. And Duran upset Sugar Leonard. He was a pretty boy, golden boy and stuff. And then when they put that belt around his waist, I was like, man, I want that. A few years later, my mom had passed away, and kind of my life went into scrambles, that stuff like that. But it was boxing that kind of got me back on the right path.
I'm glad you brought up Sugar Ray Leonard because this is a great segue right into something that we usually say for the end of the episodes, but it is still one of the most divisive, polarizing decisions ever, and we love to hear what ex-fighters say. Hagler-Leonard, you wouldn't believe how much this fight is still a hot point in boxing. Tell us who won, Jose. Clear it up for us.
I think you're gonna have reasons for both guys who should have won the fight. I think the champion should have remained the champion, being the guy that he was the aggressive fighter. He was throwing the more punches. Leonard just, was flashy towards the end of the round, and that kind of swayed the judges.
We have been getting a lot of votes for Hagler lately too. Hagler's been catching right up with a lot of our guests have been saying Hagler, which makes me want to go back and watch it for an unprecedented. I don't know how many times I've tried to watch this thing and see if I can come up with another score. I myself personally will air myself out here and say I had it 115, 113 for Sugar Ray. Maybe I was baffled by them flashy rounds.
No, but yeah, it could be. But what you could also do is what I recommend to anybody to do is to watch the fight, any fight they want to see who really won that fight. Watch it with the volume on mute.
Yeah, I have gotten better about doing that. I agree. Yeah.
Now it's just you focusing on round by round instead of being swayed by the commentators, because that's believe it or not, people don't know this, but that's what they're trained to do.
Yeah. Now, did you have a boxing idol? Did you have a guy that you looked at when you were coming up in boxing is like, wow, that's the guy for me?
Well, growing up, obviously, naturally for me, it was Roberto Duran, it was Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was Mike Tyson, and then it was Chavez, and then it was Roy Jones Jr., and then it was Trinidad. So it's like, and then towards that later in my career, obviously it was Manny Pacquiao, and I'm a fan of the sport of boxing, and a lot of these great fighters, they just kind of like, I really catch an eye. Like, I really like that fighter. He really gives. He's a good fighter. He's a strong fighter. He's a dedicated fighter. He takes his, he takes the game seriously. I'm not big at the flashy guys.
Is there anybody out there right now that's doing it for you, man, that you really got an eye on, man? Any of the current top guys?
I mean, the guy right now that I'm rooting for and that I'm watching and I'm hoping that he upsets Teofimo Lopez on February 8th is Jermaine Ortiz.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one right there. Now, why Jermaine? What is it about him? Is he somebody that that harkens back to somebody who reminds you of somebody, or are you a fan of his style? How come you're zeroed in on him?
Because he's a Worcester guy. He's one of our guys here in the gym training here. He's a homegrown Worcester, born and raised. And obviously it would be great for her to pass the mantle, for him to be the next world champion from Worcester, Mass. And so he's like, I've seen Jermaine train since he was a 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So now to see him be now 27, grown man fighting for a world title in Vegas, just can't beat that.
It's funny you talk about that because me and him were just having a discussion earlier about how, we're American guys, so you end up finding yourself rooting for the American guy. But even as we go smaller, we start to root for our guy. You know what I mean? If he came up in your area, you're like, this guy's from America, but he from where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a backyard. Yeah, he's a backyard guy, man. And that would be, but I think boxing fans, and most of the boxing media certainly would look at that fight on paper and say that that if Jermaine were to pull that off, that would be an upset. If he pulls it off, and obviously we want to believe that he is. I'm a fan of him as well. I would love to see him win that fight too. What does he have to do to beat a Teofimo Lopez if you were coaching him?
Well, I honestly, I think Jermaine Ortiz is more talented and he's faster. Has his better, and he's just a better boxer. I think Teofimo edge he has is more of a little more power puncher.
Yeah.
Don't get it wrong, Jermaine. I saw some power in his punches, but he's more of a technician. That's why they come to technician.
Yeah.
I just think that he's got to fight smart. He's got to go in there, get his punches off. Give him his angles, and don't just stand right in front of him and give him a target.
Yeah. Now, 2023 was obviously, it's in the rear view now, but we saw some amazing fights. Finally, boxing really seemed like it started to give us the matchups that we want. Was there one in last year that really stuck out to you?
I'd say not really stuck out for me. I just think that I like to see fighters fighting each other. Like I like that Davis and what's his name fought each other. I kept saying
Crawford and Spence.
Spence.
I'm glad that fight happened as well.
Oh, Tank and Ryan Garcia. That's kind of what really kicked it off.
Yeah. So I'm glad that happened. So I'm glad that's starting to come around, and we need to see more of that. We need to see the Shakur Stevensons and the David Haney's and the Lopez's and Lomachenko's and the Jermaine Ortiz. These guys fighting each other. And also in the welterweight division, we need people to stop running from Ennis and give them an opportunity. It's just, I think it's only going to help the sport of boxing, and I think they got to stop looking at these Mayweather, can't never lose type of fights, mentality, because then we don't get the best fights.
Well, I feel like something else. I mean, obviously, I'm younger. I'm still on the right side of 30, so I haven't been watching boxing, for that long. But I feel like in my adult age, I've noticed that stoppages have gotten kind of like more premature than they used to be. And like, I feel like, I don't know if you watched it, but there was just a fight that happened with Virgil Ortiz where he came back and he won. He beat the guy, but Tony Weeks stepped in and it wasn't really time. Like, it was way too early. I just wonder what you think about that for like a young guy's career coming up, like a Jermaine Ortiz. Like, where do you see boxing going with that?
Yeah, I don't think it's good for boxing, and I'm hoping that it's just one referee or maybe a couple of referees that kind of need to open their eyes on what they're doing and what have they done and what they can learn from. I myself personally, every time I fall, I had a conversation with the referees, and I specifically told them, no matter how bad it looks out there, if I'm on my feet, you will not stop this fight.
Yeah.
I said, I've trained hard. I've given everything I got. I says, give me a chance. I'm telling you, I'm ready. And then it's heartening for these fighters to train so hard as they do, and not get that opportunity taken away from them. I understand that the referee's job is to look out for the best of the fighter, but you gotta see with your own eyes that the guy can't throw no punches, that he's hurt. If he's moving, if he's defending himself, if he got his hands up, then don't stop it.
Well, do you think just because like the NFL, the NBA, all of it's like gotten a lot more powder puff, do you think that like boxing is going towards that too? Because that kind of worries me.
Yeah, no, that would worry anybody, and I hope not, because the boxing is not the type of sport that we need powder puff. I mean,
that's not going to bring the fans. That's not going to bring the fans out in droves. Yeah,
that's why MMA does so well. Because they don't. You're going to get stopped. It's not no powder puff stops there. You're hurt.
MMA, you could snap a guy's leg. No, just another day at the office.
Yeah.
And now, what about when you see these? We bring this up a lot too because they're so topical. What about when you see these gimmick type fights? When you see these hybrids, an MMA guy against a boxer, or a Jake Paul type spectacle? Do you like these? Do you think these are good for boxing or are detrimental?
I don't even watch them.
No.
I couldn't tell you one Jake Paul fight I've seen.
It's like a car crash, Jose. I can't look away.
Yeah,
a car crash. That's a good analogy. A car crash.
I can't look away.
Rubbernecking.
As a matter of fact, the rematch you see with Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, I'm not gonna watch that either.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I guess it looks like it's real.
Give me an exhibition.
Yeah.
The only winners there is Pacquiao and Mayweather. Not the sport of boxing, and not maybe some fans who love them no matter what. But
is it absolutely
possible to raise both hands?
Yeah, that's what they did with James Toney and Razor Ruddock. They recently had an exhibition, and they just both got their hands raised at the end. But do you think that a guy like Pacquiao, he can't go in with his ass chapped a little bit because he didn't get the decision the first time and still want to go at Mayweather hard? I mean, what's exhibition really mean?
He didn't win the first fight.
They're gonna fight. They're gonna throw punches at each other, but it's maybe at 50% or less. They're not gonna go in there and knock each other out. Mayweather knows. Listen, this guy's giving me an opportunity to make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to ruin that.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
But I mean, while we're on the subject of it, I know you said like you don't watch them and it's not like something that you really think about or care about, but like he is putting people on like Amanda Serrano and people who don't get the paydays they probably deserve reality, but he's giving it to them.
Different story. So for what he's doing for the sport of boxing, I respect 100%.
Yeah.
But for him to go in there and act like he's a champion and a real fighter, fighting handpicked opponents who are not real fighters, and me to give him be a fan of that, I can't be a fan of that. We worked hard in our careers to understand what it's really about. To understand that that's
a whole lifestyle. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of a different drum. I mean, you're living your life that way.
I'm curious because this is a freaking hot topic right now. I just watched the fight freaking 12 hours ago. What did you watch the Munguia Ryder fight?
No, I didn't get to see that fight.
Dude, it's really shaping up. 168 is really shaping up, man.
Yeah.
My favorite fighter at 168 is Benavidez.
Mine too. You're preaching to the choir. We're big David Benavidez guys. We're open to have him on. We've been talking to his publicist. Yeah, we love him.
Trying to get that boy on here.
Yeah, that guy's a beast. That guy's a beast.
And now, do you think now being as that we're on the topic of him, obviously the Mexicans have such a great heritage of churning out great fighters themselves. We were talking about Philadelphia earlier, but some great warriors have come from Mexico. Now Canelo obviously can punch his own ticket. He's made a lot of money. He can walk away from the sport right now. But do you think though, and we've had mixed opinions on this, asking other people this, do you think it might damage his legacy a bit though if he steps away from the sport and doesn't get Benavidez on his resume?
I think he's had a great career. So he's already cemented his career. He's a Hall of Famer. But you could tell that he's running for Benavidez.
Thank you. Jesus.
He don't want to fight Benavidez, and he's picking all these other fighters. And Benavidez has been calling him out since for a while now. Benavidez called him out in the beginning. When he called him out, I was like, I don't know if you're ready for that. Yeah, calm down.
Right.
Fights. And then I was like, okay, now he's ready. And then I was hoping, but then Canelo keeps fighting these. I can't even. It's just amazing to me to be a caliber fighter of that magnitude and to handpick these type of opponents. I don't watch those fights either. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, everything's speculation, but I saw something today that said Benavidez versus Munguia and Billy versus Morrell or something, some swap of that. And the winner of those two fights should fight each other to see who fights Canelo.
It's always like a prize to fight Canelo.
But I thought Benavidez was fighting the other champion there. Was it Morrell?
Yeah.
It might have been that. It might have been Benavidez, Morrell, and then Billy Munguia.
Yeah, they're fighting each other. So, like I said, Benavidez keeps fighting the top guys. Like he don't.
Yeah, Benavidez is doing it the way you should be. He's kind of cleaning out his own division. That's the way it used to be.
Yeah, but do you think it's kind of like a slap in the face of Benavidez because Morrell is only like 10 or 11-0.
Yeah, but he's a beast. He comes from the Olympian background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's almost like a Lomachenko type of fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got the pedigree.
Yeah, you're right.
That's like don't compare. Just come the resume where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody expected Lomachenko to become the legend that he became, fighting world title at 1-0. You know, and he even lost that first world title fight, and then came back and won, and kept winning, and it wasn't nobody's like, how can this guy get a world title fight? But he's a 2-time gold medalist.
So of all those guys I named, though, do you think that outright Benavidez has already earned the right to fight Canelo without the rest of that competition?
I think right now being he's like 3-time champion.
Yeah, he's been sitting right there at the top of the WBC rankings now for going on 3 years.
And he's a top guy. I mean, my thing is, how can you not earn to fight Canelo? I mean, he's the guy. He should be the top guy on the list because he's the strongest, biggest threat. Doesn't mean Canelo won't beat him. Right. But now the biggest threat is Benavidez for Canelo, and he won't take the chance. I don't think he'll take it.
Now, talking about fights, specific to your career, was there ever a fight that you were really yearning for that didn't come to fruition for you?
Well, when I fought for my third world title fight, I fought Alejandro Garcia from Mexico, and De La Hoya fought Ricardo Mayorga for the WBC title.
Yep.
We fought for the WBA title, and the winner was supposed to fight each other, but they were already talking about Garcia versus De La Hoya.
Yeah.
And I beat Garcia. Then De La Hoya went in a different direction, and I was hoping to get that unification title,
with De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayorga's a hot topic on the brain right now, man.
Mayorga's a hot topic on the brain because I'll clue our viewers in. Later on tonight, we're going to be interviewing Vernon Forrest's brother, the late great Vernon Forrest, and so in preparation for the interview, we were watching a couple of his fights. We were watching the fights, with Mayorga. So he's been on our brain lately as we've been preparing for Vernon Forrest's brother. But
I'd like to ask you though, because I just got done watching the fight, and obviously, like I said, I'm on the north side of 30. So it's not a fight I saw in real time or anything. It's my first time seeing it. And I've seen Mayorga. I watched Mayorga versus Cotto, and he just always seemed like a dirty fighter to me. Like a lot of rabbit punches, a lot of dirty tactics.
A lot.
Is that am I wrong on that?
No, that's what he was. He was a brawler. Mayorga had no skills whatsoever.
Yeah.
He there and try to knock you out or get knocked out. Like for him, it was not one or the other. And that's why I felt so confident. I was supposed to fight Mayorga in Madison Square Garden, and for the WBA title, welterweight title, my title, and he came in as a junior middleweight for that fight. And Don King already had another opponent for him at the weigh-in.
Wow.
Yeah. So because they already were setting him up for the rematch. I mean, for the comeback fight for Tito Trinidad, when Tito Trinidad was coming out. So all that had came out by the time we were getting ready for our fight. So Don King could not take a chance of putting Mayorga against me, and he losing because that's a big millions of dollars for Trinidad Mayorga. So so that's
business at the end of the day. Yep.
Business at the end of the
always.
day.
So what's life like for what's life after boxing been like for you? Catch people up to what you're currently doing.
Well, for me, during my whole career, before I was a world champion, when I fought for world titles, when I won world titles, when I was defending world titles, I also had a full-time job. I was at the time when I first started, I was an associate court officer, and then I got promoted to court officer, and then now I'm an assistant chief court officer. Hopefully, I'll be applying for chief court officer. But I've been with the trial courts for 23 years now, and it's been great. It's the boxing is something that I loved, and I had dreams, and I was able to accomplish my goals and my dreams. But it never was the money to provide for my family or help for retirement and none of that stuff. And my job, I just it's a great job. I love my job, so I had to do it while I was boxing. I just didn't take time off in between fights.
I gotta say, dude, I love that. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of guys we get on here, we don't ever hear of like the mundane job, but it's smart that you always kept that in the back pocket, because now you're gonna have a retirement still.
Yeah.
And all the boxing is just something to talk about and relish in.
Yeah. You can really enjoy it. You can really truly enjoy it because you didn't have to feel that pressure of like, God, I've got to be constantly succeeding in this. This is what's
I got to be
on the table.
Free because of boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it just allowed me to, just fight, do the pro game at my way instead of having to be obligated to, Don King's constant taking advantage.
I love it and respect the fuck out of it.
Yeah. That's a healthy perspective. That's a healthy perspective and a way to go about your career for sure.
My son and my brother and I also have a promotional company, Rivera Promotions Entertainment, and we run boxing events for the up and coming fighters.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we try to have as many guys on the come up. Certainly, it's always great to have legends on here and guys that have done it at a high level. But the guys on the come up, the way we look at it is like if we have a fighter on here that's 3-0, 5-0, 7-0, we have no idea that we're not talking to the next Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once that guy blows up, then everybody goes back and looks for every possible interview and snippet of something they can find. So
but not only that though, they're gonna remember the relationship and rapport that we built with them.
Yeah, which means a lot to us. Guys on the come up are always looking for a platform and a way to shine and say, hey, I'm doing it over here too. Guys need that.
No, it's good. Like I said, we do for these guys. These are like you guys mentioned. These are up and coming fighters.
Yeah.
One of our success stories from our up and coming fighters is Richard Popeye Rivera. Who fought for out there in Dubai against.
Okay.
They robbed him against. I saw the fight. I thought he got robbed against who's that cruiserweight out there? Former champion. His name is skipping my mind now.
And is Popeye still doing it?
Yeah. He's still doing it. He's kind of on the cusp right now. He's I think called for a possible, world title fight against. But they ended up giving it to somebody else against Bivol or who's the other guy?
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev. Yeah. So Yeah, so he's there. He's he started with us, turned pro with us, and then now he's on the cusp of fighting for a world title as well. And we got some other fighters who are just also right now getting ready to, make that move to the next level. And we like to start them at doing pro debuts and helping them out and bring them up. And we don't sign these fighters. We don't lock these fighters in. We just kind of like want to see their careers progress and move on to bigger and better things. So. That's what we do.
That's great.
I love that.
That's absolutely great.
That, and not
Make
locking
sure
nobody into nothing and
that's
forcing
great.
no hands in anything. Just want to see y'all progress and do great.
Just give them opportunities, because there's a lot of talent out there that people haven't seen, and giving these guys an opportunity to flourish, giving them step would be great. It helps us here in the New England area, but also helps the sport of boxing.
Make sure you shoot me a text with his name because we'll reach out to him and try to get him on here too. Yeah, please do that. And listen, Jose, an absolute honor and a pleasure getting the chance to talk to you. We really appreciate you doing this. I'm glad we were able to make it happen. Please stay in touch. We'd love to do it again.
Sounds good, man. All right. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Appreciate you a lot, champ.
Appreciate you, man. Take care.
Bye-bye. And once again, Off the Couch Boxing does it for you once again. That is the great Jose Antonio Rivera, El Gallo, who when people are thinking about nicknames, always want to pick a badass animal, but he's here to say that the motherfucking hen can throw down. Don't get it twisted. Poultry.
That's why I brought it up though, because people will knock like hen fighting, cock fighting, whatever you want to call it, but the hen, or not the hen, the rooster in its natural nature wants to fight.
Don't do it. Don't step to it.
They want to fight, dude. Yeah. That's what they want to do.
I would like to say that they're very good. They don't
want to prance around and dance around. They want to fight.
I would like to say they're very good on their feet, and they are probably, no pun intended, but they are probably poultry in motion. Huh?
I like that. But you got to say, people will knock it and say it's animal abuse, but those animals want to go at it. They ain't going at it because they don't.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. I mean, and he even talked about his hen playing possum. Oh, you got me hurt. You got me on the ropes. Yep. Oh, here I come.
Yeah.
Back.
They know what they're doing.
Going back on the offense here, man. Yeah, and so of course we appreciate the great Jose Antonio Rivera. I just put his notes away here a second, but 43-6-1. 25 knockouts, a phenomenal welterweight man who had an illustrious career. And I like to hear that he did it on his own terms, too. Never was sweating. I got to get this fight. How am I going to eat, man?
You think, dude, he's fucking 6-7 years away from working a 30-year career job.
I know.
As well as have been a pro boxer.
Yeah. So, I've been talking to him for a couple weeks. By talking to him for a couple weeks, glad we finally got a chance to make that happen, man. And much love to him for doing the show. Make sure you're liking and following us on the almighty Facebook, where people go.
Notification bell.
Oh, yeah. If you're watching this, of course, like, subscribe, get the notification bell. Plenty of content that you ain't getting nowhere else except for here. Just recently put up a Michael Cold Blood Clark, shout out to him, interview up. Who's bringing you Michael Cold Blood Clark? Who's bringing you Lamar Kidfire Parks? Who's bringing you Ike Abeabuchi, who, by the way, some dude was out there clout chasing, trying to say 3 weeks ago that he nabbed the first interview with Ike, the president of Abeabuchi, since 1999. No, you didn't, Squirt. Sorry to tell you, man, but there's no way that you come at us like that, man. No way, man.
Hey, I want to say on Off the Couch Boxing right here. Shout out Rexx. Shout out the host, because he's been corresponding and cultivating this interview since fucking 2004.
I cultivate him, yeah. People don't know that.
Dude was in prison and he was cultivating this.
Yeah, people don't know, man. This started way back in the early 2000s, man, where I was corresponding by mail. Yes, letters, physical letters, and corresponding and just trying to keep Ike's spirits up when he was incarcerated out in, I believe it was Nevada. I know they moved him around a couple different times. Arizona might have been in the mix there somewhere too. I can't remember, but I mean, Ike, the president of Abeabuchi, man, I go back and have some history with that cat. He remembered that said history, and was kind enough to come on and really do a proper interview. You know, this guy was going around saying he had the first, only went about 20, 30 minutes with him. We went an hour and 11 minutes with him, man. And, you know, we gave you the real straight skinny on what's going down in the life of the president. And shout out to him because he's looking to make some big fights. Just talked to a mutual friend and former opponent of his, Tim Ray. They're trying to put something together with James Toney or Shannon Briggs, you know, just to knock the whatever rust is there. So that's good news. Shannon Briggs, you want to come on and talk about it? Here we are, baby.
We've been here. Brownsville Yeti. We've been here.
Don't make me even change over to the hat.
We've been here.
Yeah.
And we're here to stay, Cannon.
We're here to stay, Cannon. So you might as well take your medicine like a big boy and come on here and chop it up with us, man. I mean, we don't bite, man. As a matter of fact, we're lobbying for you to be in the Hall of Fame. 37 first-round knockouts.
Shout out Rafi Cohen. Just listen to the Trash Talk book. Shannon's one of the best. But I'm gonna have to give him a little gump when he gets on here.
Yeah. That being said, man, please continue to like, please continue to subscribe, man. And we're going to be rolling right into another one as soon as we cut this one off. So,
and shout out Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Because I can go 15 seconds with anything.
And I would like to echo that with reminding you all that if you want to be a champion, then you got to roll with the champs.